In this exercise, we are going to start with this drawing and we will end up with this illustration. File, Place. I go to Advanced, Exercise 1, click, check template and Place. And first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to draw this sun right here. So I'm gonna start with the ellipse tool. I'm gonna set the fill color to yellow and no stroke. I put the cursor right here. I press shift and I draw a circle just like this. I let go, select, deselect. I go to line segment tool. I'm gonna swap fill and stroke, make the stroke yellow, and I'm gonna set the stroke weight to 10 points. I put the cursor in the center of the circle. I press shift, maintain, and draw a line like this, a vertical line. Now the line selected. I go to Effect, Distort and Transform. Transform. I'm gonna set the center of the rotation on top. The angle is gonna be 10 degrees. And I'm gonna increase the number of copies up to 35 and click on OK. Now selection tool, I'm gonna select the two parts of the sun, right click, and I'm gonna group them together. Now I'm gonna draw the boat. I'm gonna need the pen tool. I'm gonna set the color, the stroke color to black and stroke weight to 5 points just to make it visible. And I'm gonna start here, click, 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 and I'm gonna close. Direct selection tool, I click on this point, I round this corner, click on this point and I round this corner. I go back to the pen tool, make one click here, one click, one click, one click, and I'm gonna close the path. Direct selection tool, I click on this point, I round the corner here, and this point I round the corner here. Go back to pen tool, I click and drag here, I anchor, click and drag, anchor, I create a straight line, click, and now click and drag, and just like that I close the path. I'm gonna select the ellipse tool, I press shift, I'm gonna draw a circle here. Selection tool, I'm gonna press Alt and duplicate several times, Alt again and duplicate. I'm gonna choose rectangle tool now. I put the cursor right here and I create a rectangle like this. Rectangle like this, I'm gonna move its position. Selection tool, I'm gonna press Alt and duplicate this rectangle and put the copy right here. Now I'm gonna select everything. I'm gonna choose the shape builder tool. I press Alt and I'm gonna remove this part, this part, this part, this part, this part, and this part. Now I'm gonna select this part. I'm gonna set the fill color to pink and stroke none. I'm gonna press Shift. I'm gonna select the circles. I'm gonna set the color to white. And I'm gonna remove the stroke. I'm gonna select this part, press Shift, select these parts, stroke none, and the fill, I'm gonna choose the dark blue, like this. I click away, I deselect, I'm gonna click on the color guide, I'm gonna choose shades here, shades, make sure the same color blue here is selected. I'm gonna press Shift, select this part, and this part, and I'm going to choose a lighter shade of blue, this shade. Now I'm gonna click away, I'm gonna press Shift and select these three circles, and I'm gonna set the color to this shade of blue, a very light blue like this. And now we have the boat. I'm gonna select everything, all the parts of the boat, and I'm going to group them together. Group. I can close this. I'm gonna select the rectangle tool. I'm gonna draw a rectangle like this. I'm gonna open the gradient window. I'm gonna create a linear gradient like this. I'm gonna set the angle to 90 degrees. This color is gonna remain white, and this color I'm gonna double click and choose a light blue. This is for the sky. I deselect. I'm gonna choose this shade of blue now, and now I'm going to create the sea like this. Selection tool, I select both the sky and the sea, right click, arrange, and send to back. Okay, now I'm going to select both, object, lock selection. Now I can't move or select the sky or the sea. I'm gonna select the boat, press Alt, and I duplicate like this. I'm gonna right click, transform, reflect, and I choose horizontal and click OK. And now I'm gonna put the reflection of the boat right here on this level. I'm gonna zoom a little bit. And now I'm going to select the rectangle tool. I'm gonna select the color black, and I'm going to create a rectangle that covers the entire reflection of the boat like this. I'm gonna open the gradient window. I'm gonna apply a gradient, linear gradient like this. I'm gonna set the angle to -90. We have white on top, and I'm gonna set this color to black in the bottom. It goes from white to black. I go to selection tool. I'm gonna select both this rectangle and the reflection of the boat, and now I'm going to apply a transparent gradient mask I click here on opacity and I click on make mask, and just like that we have this effect. If you notice, everything that's white in the gradient stays visible and what's black is invisible. That's how it works. This is the gradient transparent mask. I'm gonna select the whole thing and reduce the opacity from 100 to 50%, like this. I'm gonna select the rectangle tool and I'm gonna create a rectangle that covers the entire sun like this. I'm gonna open the gradient window and I'm gonna change this from linear gradient to radial gradient and get this result. I'm going to move the black spot a little bit like this. And now, same thing I did earlier. I select both the sun and this rectangle. I open opacity here and I'm gonna apply the same effect. I click on make mask and just like that we get this effect. I'm gonna click on object, click on unlock all. I select, I'm gonna hide them just to show you the effect. And now it's very clear. You see how it goes from visible to invisible gradually. Object, I click on show all. And one last thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna click and maintain and choose flare tool. I place the cursor here in the center of the sun and I click and drag up to this point. I click and drag, and just like that we get this effect. The exercise now is finished. You go do the same and don't forget to save.